Hi, everybody. Welcome to the eCompass podcast. I'm your host, Eitan Koter, and today I welcome Scott Ohsman, VP Digital Commerce at Quickfire. Scott, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Doing great, Eitan. Great to. We'll talk hoops later, but that was glad to be here.
Yes, it's a pleasure having you here. I mean, I see your activities all over. Super excited to have you here. And so, Scott, let's start, with your story. Everyone has a story, and you can start, whenever you want, right? I mean, you're in the business for many, many years. We would love to know your background.
I mean, nobody cares. I mean, I've been almost 30 years in retail. Started out as a manufacturer independent rep here in the Pacific Northwest area of the United States. And so I started out representing I got lucky, big brands, Jansport backpacks. And then I worked for North Face and basically we covered 300 little independents all the way to department store. I was lucky in the fact that basically I got to learn distribution strategy, a lot of retail mechanics, kind of retail math, inventory, production, forecasting. Worked my way up to key account management, then got my big break managing at North Face. The big REI business was a big thing, and then I worked for Columbia Sportswear for a few minutes, and then I went back into the independent rep agency, and then was a partner in an agency, and then bought that out in 2013. And then meanwhile, in 2006, there's this thing, and I saw this when I was at Columbia. We started selling Amazon stuff, and so that's where it all started percolating for me. And I've always been a little, just nerdy enough to like tech and stuff like that. So basically 2006, went back, joined a rep group, and then I started selling our brands that we were selling to REI and retailers in the area. We started going, hey, why don't we go sell them to Amazon, which actually took us a long time to convince a lot of the brands because there's a lot of fear at that time.
At that time,
So,
yeah.
yeah, at that time, I mean, Amazon was nobody wanted to go, and they were all, I don't want to sell Amazon at that time because then I'm going to lose my REI business, I'm going to lose my Nordstrom business, I'm going to lose my whatever the case is.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that experience, Eitan, was it was kind of like my MBA. I got to understand independent specialty retail. I mean, we called on so many different channels of trade, like you name it, general merchandisers, specialty running, specialty shoe. And then the other part was I was basically a sub rep for apparel. So I built and understood and got taught the apparel business. Same thing with shoes. I was in a sub rep for worked for a big, huge apparel, footwear brands, Merrill Footwear, Rockport, old brands that nobody cares about anymore. But anyway, so what the point is that I got a lot of experience learning all of these businesses, all these categories, and then all these types of retailers. And then bought my partner out in 2013, started an Amazon division in 2014 called the Caring Company, merged that because we were first party, meaning most of my career with Amazon was selling to them like a traditional retailer. They give us POs, it's wholesale. Okay. So anyway, and I knew this whole third party marketplace thing was gonna get busy. So I knew in 2013, I started going to some conferences. I'm like, I got to educate myself on this because they were a pain in the butt, to be honest, at the time. But then I merged with the Buy Box Experts in 2018. I tried a bunch of tech stuff, Eitan. You and I could go. I mean, I spent a lot of money and lost a lot of money. But anyway, my blueprint was good. It was just my timing was off. But to round this corner, to bring it home, merge with Buy Box Experts, and we merge again, blah, 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 blah. I left them in 2019. I was doing contract work for Quickfire before all of this.
Okay.
Left in 2020, became VP Digital Commerce for Quickfire in 2020. Buy Box actually was eventually sold. I had a minor, teeny tiny bit of it, which I'm grateful for. They sold to Spreetail in May of 21. And so I brought really an Amazon practice to Quickfire, but Quickfire does social media management, influencer content management, SEM, paid search, paid social. So what I love about it, which I miss being the Amazon person only, I like how it all works together.
Yeah.
So That's what we do at Quickfire. I'm still driving and handling a lot of. We do small, medium startups to small, medium, mid cap kind of companies. And so that's my story, I guess. I've
Yes,
lived
for
in
me it's
Seattle for
interesting.
almost 30 years. Go ahead.
In your place of your career, I mean, you can do so many things, right? And you're so energetic and passionate about, all the things that you do there in Quickfire. And I'd love to ask you, I mean, what triggers you? I mean, what's so exciting, about what you're doing? I mean, you said it brings it all up together, obviously, but what's more? Why you're so passionate about this business?
Because I love the small brands. I've always worked, I've worked for the big brands,
Okay.
and the small and challenger brands, they got to be gritty. They don't have a ton of money. They got to be scrappy. So
Yes.
I just like to see that now we can correlate. We can do things on social media paid to drive an impact in Amazon or their D2C business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Using Shopify or what have you. Using, which is your business, video. And we've
Yeah.
talked about that shoppability through video.
Correct.
I love I'm fascinated by the tech. I'm fascinated by, again, Google and the paid search, all the different AI products that are coming out, all the different technologies they're using to try and perfect the sauce of audience making. Since the Apple thing in 2021, right? Everybody's been like, screaming for first party data. So I like how we can take brands and we can use budgets and shift them, and we can look at their businesses and kind of be stewards of the P&L and figure out how do we drive the biggest bang for the buck. So
Sure.
that's what I like about it. All the things, and the creative aspect adds to it.
Exactly. Interesting. We'll talk about that. So obviously there is a first phase, maybe a planning or a strategy session that needs to be. You need to understand the business, right? And so I would love to know, like a typical, like your, best case scenario in terms of a real process with the new, small business. What will be the ideal step in terms of, planning, budgeting, analyzing, giving some recommendation. Then we talk about creatives, maybe.
Yeah, as far as looking at the overall, what are they trying to achieve?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, this is how I talk real. How do they have any capital? Like, cash is king. Cash flow runs everything. So how much do they have? And then I try and look at, okay, so their percentage of spend in marketing, overall marketing, what are they doing? What's working, what's not working?
Yep.
And then where do we think we can drive the biggest return on that spend over a long period of time, or short or long period of time? And then what's their sales channels, right? What's their product segmentation? What's their average order value? A lot
Yes.
of manufacturers and brands, they sell a lot of these small value things, and then they cry because they're not making any money because they're either predominantly an e-commerce direct to consumer, or they have Amazon or what have you. So
Oh.
I spent so many years running my own business and looking over financials, and learned that a lot of my process is I just try to get a sense of financially, where are they?
Mm-hmm.
And so many brands, God bless it, Eitan, they spend so much money on stuff that they shouldn't be spending money on. So I
Yeah.
try to look at that, and then I break it down to the fundamental of, okay, let's start here. Here's an expectation that's realistic, and
Mm-hmm.
let's go build out a plan of where we're going to do it. And then when we're going, we might move money from Google to social paid. We might see where we're getting the biggest bang.
Yes, yes. And obviously you try to evolve, based on data like ROAS performance, right? And then probably increase budget, right? This is usually how it goes, correct?
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah,
Disclaimers for everything, right? It's
sure.
if they have a specific category, if they have a specific competitive set, is critical to this,
Okay.
right? Because
Yeah.
everybody reads the stuff and they get excited about TikTok, they get excited about all this other stuff, but they don't understand that it's there are no tricks out there. There are no just whiz bang magic wands.
Yeah.
So getting them a foundation is really the kind of the start of the process, and then
Mm-hmm.
go, okay, what does our return on ad spend need to be in this particular channel, in this platform, for us to actually make it make sense? Or, hey, you know what? It's going to be low for this period of time, but you know what? If we stay with it and are disciplined, it's going to come back.
Mm-hmm. So obviously you need to have a kind of a longer term view, right? And need to have someone that you can trust. There is a lot of strategy here. Um, so there is any like analysis or specific things that are related to the niche that you're working with, or is just the same processes all over?
It's pretty much the same processes, because when you
Mm-hmm.
look in different businesses, like I said, different subsets of competitors or price points, or really about the thing I loved about my experience is the old distribution channel, right? So you first have to get a sense of the brand. Where do they sell? And do they have control of the supply?
Yeah.
So I have an old guy taught me long ago, if you control supply, you control the channel. This is before the internet. It's way before
Wow.
the internet. The internet wasn't even an idea. Because
Nice.
back
Yeah.
then we had different retailers. We had major national retailers, regional. Costco. We sold Costco for over 15 years off and on.
Yes. But keep feeding them effectively. That's it. Yeah.
So, but do you control supply so you can actually take control of different channels?
Sure.
And a lot of people, it sounds easy, but it's really hard to execute,
Sure.
extraordinarily hard. So with the price matching and repricing tools and all of the different things that the world is,
Yeah.
this gets really confusing and complex for brands that they just have a great idea, they have a great product market fit, and they just want to sell stuff.
Yes. And obviously things are getting more complicated now with all the various shops and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and Amazon. I mean, marketplaces and social commerce, right? Again, fulfillment challenges, checkouts, it's all big, complex, and even getting more and more complicated, right?
It is. So
Yeah.
my job, one of our jobs, is to try to be the translator, try to basically take all of that
Amazing.
noise and all these little strings
Yeah.
and go, you know what? That one's fun. That one's cool.
Hmm.
Well, let's put that over here for a
Yeah.
second.
It seems like, a lot of brands they are working on, like, there's this trend now, let's do that, right? But hey, stop, stop, stop. Let's think about it for a second. Let's analyze it, right? You want to
Yeah.
bring them like going back to the basics, right? And try to analyze things in a
Yeah,
much
because
more
Eitan,
structured way.
nobody wants to hear the truth. And I'm
Yeah.
the same way, right?
It's a human nature, you say,
It's
right?
human nature. We all have to compare ourselves, you got to keep up with the Joneses, as the cliche is, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I just got off a call with a great client, and they were talking. They want to use. They're doing a trial on a new tool, okay? Because they have a friend at
That
another brand,
friend,
and they've had
yes.
huge. Again, I'm not saying that it won't work or will not work. I'm just saying I raise my hand too. I am very vulnerable to the shiny object, to the new
Yes.
fun stuff.
Yes. Yes. So you work with Amazon, obviously, with Amazon Ads, right? You do also, the Meta group, correct?
Correct.
Google,
Yep.
right? Um, I mean, any feedbacks or insights, on these various platforms, for 2024. How do you see them,
Yeah, I mean,
evolve?
yes. Okay, so uh, the same principles apply to digital advertising. It has since the dawn of digital advertising. Okay, go watch an
Okay.
old thing of Mad Men, which before digital
Yes.
advertising actually still plays. Most small to medium mid-cap brands, okay, that don't have large points of distribution. There's a big difference here
Hmm.
between I'm in 5,000 stores versus I'm in 200 stores, but they're really big major market stores.
Yeah.
So digital advertising, I always talk about it, again, shameless plug for Always Off Brand, but our podcast about there's two streets, and the principles I think are so important, and they are missed 100 times a day. You either pick a profit one, and this is the truth that nobody wants to hear, and I don't blame them. When
Okay.
you're a small to mid brand, Eitan, and you don't have 5, 15, 20,000 doors, okay?
Sure.
You can't afford to go buy traffic, which is the other street, the street of sales. I want sales, because you know what? That costs a fortune. There is low return on ad spend. If not, you're going to lose money.
Yeah.
And you don't have the stomach and liquidity and the capital to stomach it out for 6 months, 7 months, 4 months, whatever it's going to be, to where you get to profit back. So
Yes.
the principles are the same across all of those platforms. The tactical is you have to think about them a little bit differently.
Hmm.
Meta is getting better, but it is a broader brush. The audience targeting isn't like it was before Apple 21.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I think it's coming back now. The expectation is you can't, depending on the product, and people are going to say, well, I do this. It's really hard these days to get a $5 return on ad spend, a ROAS on Meta. Okay. Facebook demographics have come out. Instagram's got its life cycle.
Yep.
So we used to just get huge return, high conversion, and it's just you have to set the expectation low. Does that make sense on Meta?
Of course.
But
Sure.
they're getting better, and they've got some new AI tools. They're not new, actually. It's machine learning that they're AI. They're not generative AI. They're AI that they've had, that they're getting better at actually getting more targeted audiences and actually improving the campaign structures and doing that. So
yes,
there's hope there for Meta. And if I don't know what this means totally, but their quote unquote partnership with Amazon, where they're able to put Amazon ads on Facebook and on Instagram on Meta, that's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Where that's going to go, because Meta's problem is they don't have first party data.
Yeah. Correct.
That's the weakness. Amazon's problem is they don't have social commerce. So, Google, if I can finish my answer on that, I am fascinated by the paid search on Google, because they have this Performance Max, this PMax, which I think is for bang for your buck as far as non-branded, right? This is, we're trying to bring in people to the party, buy traffic.
Yeah.
I think it's spectacular.
Okay.
I think it is for the bang for the buck, right? For these brands who don't have distribution, nobody knows them. You can kind of make a little meal. You can carve it out.
Yeah.
And then Amazon is a juggernaut, and it's the same principles apply, but they are just every week coming out with new ad types, new tech, and they're really democratizing big spends of demand side platform and retargeting. And so that's exciting. Now, how all is this going to work with social? And again, I'm excited for TikTok to get their crap together, because advertising there is still a hot mess from a brand side.
Yeah.
But that has huge potential. Did I answer? Well. That was such a long, God.
No, I mean, it's an interesting
myself, Eitan. That was so long.
I mean, good question, I think. Maybe excellent question. And you get an amazing response. So I think it's been great. So you mentioned Apple 2021, right? So we are now in a cookieless world. What's changed? I mean,
this is, again, in my opinion, this is all marketing buzz nonsense.
Yeah. Okay.
It's only third-party tools and the cookieless. People have been seeing this coming on. Again, we look to Europe and we look to the international market. They've actually figured this out way faster than the U.S., because the U.S. just wants to chase a dollar. We don't want level playing fields here. We don't care about that. So I believe the cookieless is going to be way less impact and dramatic as people are trying to do it. And there's a lot of software companies, shout out to them. Maybe you're doing it, and I don't know if I'm being a Debbie Downer to you for Vimy, but a lot of tools are trying to market to brands and say, listen, we've got the solution to basically, figure out the workaround for this cookieless thing. Yes, and I think it's something, but I don't think it's going to be as dramatic as everyone thinks.
Got it. So you say that this whole event is not that dramatic, right? And obviously, we try to, push video and shoppable video. Video gives a lot of knowledge, right, about customers, because the behavior is a little bit different. There's also engagement. You're chatting, you're clicking on things, and gives you more type of information. But then you see, the growth of retail media, right? I mean, those online retailers, they have first-party data, and it's very, very interesting for brands. And how do you see budgets, evolving over there? I mean, it's, I guess you can agree this is a big, big, big thing, right? With retail media.
It's massive.
Yeah, massive.
I mean, Amazon and Walmart are the two that most budgets are moving towards, off traditional trade and other things. But in Walmart, I'm just rooting for Walmart. We do a little Walmart business on Walmart Connect and Walmart Marketplace, and it's Amazon early days. Again, they have to clean up the marketplace because their ad console and the return in that retail media, because they have so much great data,
Hmm.
it's just gotta sort itself out. It's just a mess right now. It's showing good promise. They've got everything there, especially in grocery. They're killing it. But that's the two ones. The other ones that nobody really talks about, again, we just, again, had some people on talking about retail media. I won't name drop here, Eitan. I won't do some name.
It's okay.
Well, Kerry Masters and Julie Spear from Acadia, they've spent a
Yeah.
lot of time thinking about this and looking at this, right?
Hmm.
And they were talking about Kroger's new performance retail media, which I think is fascinating. So there's some kind of sleepers that we don't hear a lot.
Okay.
Lowe's, Home Depot. If you're in that market, if you're in that vertical, I am telling you, that is a sleeper out there that if it's appropriate, you can go in and get really high return, very good customer attraction, conversion. Those are great. And it's a cost benefit there. It's a less
Yes.
cost for a cost per click in the auction thing. So I think those major retailers, the one I'm waiting for, Eitan, the one I'm waiting for is some
Okay.
major department store. Nordstrom just came out with their little one, but it's just they haven't sunk their teeth into it. It's a baby.
Yes.
These department stores have so much first party data they're not leveraging. Macy's in the United States.
But they're like, it's their move slow, very slow, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Amazon with retail media opportunity, and I understand the Amazon Prime and the videos, real estate. They are selling, inventory for advertising. Also Netflix and Disney with all the new packages, and you see now cooperation between entertainment companies and commerce. I mean,
But
it's like something like the big screen, right? That still needs to be proved, right? Are we happy purchasing in a lean back type of experience? Yet to be seen,
but
right? In terms of
here's
human behavior.
here's
Yeah.
the difference, Eitan. Okay. I'm telling you all this stuff you already know. Here's the difference. This is what what Amazon has been doing for the last really 5 to 7 years. Before the pandemic they started, right? Can you imagine the earnings just came out. They're going to do 47 billion
47
dollars in
billion.
ad
Yeah.
revenue, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought they had a shot to hit a 50 billion burger, but um, they started really in 2017,
Yes.
18. You know why? You know why they're so successful?
Why?
Because they collapsed the marketing funnel. Because they can take you from buying traffic to awareness and get you all the way in one experience to purchase.
Yeah.
That is the game. That is the race. And you know what? Finally, we got some people catching up. Walmart has an opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
TikTok Shop is, again, it's a baby, it's an infant. I am rooting for it because I think it has the opportunity to do that. But that is what they have. That Google, we thought Google was going to figure this out years ago, and they finally
Hmm.
just said they punted,
Yeah.
right? So that to me is the biggest kind of I don't know. That's the meteor. That's the biggest shift that needs to happen. Is you got to take me from discovery, which is TikTok, which is all of these huge platforms, Temu we talked about before we hit it record.
Sure.
If you got 3 billion people that are on your platform, you got to get them to conversion and then fulfill it, and you got to be an operator.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, look at TikTok. They started like as an entertainment platform. Then it becomes, a search and discovery platform, and now they want to become a shopping platform, right? And now with the latest announcement, like every video can be shoppable, can become shoppable, right? So something you can fix from the back end. So, wow. So this is not entertainment anymore. It's something else. Right? So it's
It is something else, but the core psychological consumer, right? We do want to be entertained.
sure.
And I've been wrong, right? I was saying 2 years ago, I thought live stream, I just thought it would just gain more adoption than it has over the
Hmm.
years. I still think if it's done right, but again, it's got to be that the TikTok platform, or they've got to figure it out, right? Instagram tried it, Facebook tried it, and then they said, you know what, we can't figure it out.
No, it's still complex. It's a very, intensive, the production of these events. You need to create a lot of build up, also marketing those events, and it needs to have the right products. probably not too expensive product that you can quickly showcase a real transformation, right? In a type of video that you can use, heavily discounted. So a lot of checkboxes are required to make it a successful event, and then you find the right host that they can. It's not the creators or the influencers; it's something else.
I should
Maybe
be
it's
a
the
host. I could be a
yeah.
host.
You can be a host, of course, and you can move to China and you make like $1 billion in a year, something like that,
Really?
as a
Oh,
solopreneur.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
No, it's so, they're so far ahead, but I don't know if we'll ever catch up. Right, from their
yeah,
live stream, they have a lot of shoppable tech there they've been doing for years.
yes, and also
Chat
they
commerce, right? I thought that was going to
correct.
be a big deal here.
No, and I think they over there they have this like like the super apps, right? Which makes complete
Yeah.
difference. Like here we have, we have Twitch and we have Snap and we have, Instagram and we have Facebook and we have TikTok and I mean and then we have Pinterest and more and it's like all these, you know, communities, right? That you need to think about. And
Yeah.
it makes everything confusing, definitely for the smaller brands that you work with. I mean, they want everything, but no, 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 no. Pick your
But
battles,
yeah,
right?
but they still have the same, I believe. Again, it's not every case, right? But they have boards, they have senior people, they have major investors. What
Yeah,
happens is these investors and in that community, they read the paper. No, they don't. Well, they're probably old, so they do read the paper. I mean, the digital, right? They hear about all the successes, and so they're asking and challenging their C-suite. Why aren't we doing this on TikTok? I got so and so is built a multi-$100 million they're doing on this platform. Why aren't we doing this?
yeah,
And all of a sudden, that kind of collapses down, filters through the organization, and you got to pick one, know what you want, and go for it.
yes, yes. Great. So I want to talk to you about the creative side of things, right? So what's the process here? I mean, how you're involved and what's some of the recommendation that they can provide?
I mean, this is you just talked about, right? There's if you do a
Mhm.
live stream, if you want to convert purchases off video, which we saw a really interesting test. It's not brand new, but Amazon's Thursday Night Football,
Yeah.
and their Thanksgiving in the U.S., their Thanksgiving Day football, right? Black Friday football.
Hmm.
I'll get to it. They had the QR code when you buy stuff off your television. Okay, I think that's actually got some legs in various screen formats. And the
Okay.
creative is so important because we are over inundated by creative. So I think the consumer is actually getting more I don't know. They're getting smarter with good creative and not good creative.
Hmm.
I think they're getting more picky. Okay? So
Okay.
that is the creative is so critical, but like everything, we can overthink the creative. And what we run into a lot is people over create. They have like, oh, we got to have, I need this creative for this date. I got a creative for that date. Well, the machines don't like that. The ad tech doesn't like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's very critical that you focus and you make sure which creative is find what's working. I love A/B testing if it's possible.
Okay.
And once you hit good creative, you drive it. Depending if you have a repeat purchaser or everybody's new.
Okay. Okay. There are some scenarios that video works better than picture or text that you can identify, or there's.
Well, yeah, I believe so. I mean, you could probably
Hmm.
tell me that a better answer than I would have. If there is a how-to element to if it's a technical product, if it's either
Yes.
complex technical application, I think video is absolutely brilliant. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think? I mean, not to ask you a
Yes. I mean,
question on your
it's very difficult. Post you can analyze and what was so good in that specific media, and video can be like a full-fledged crazy production, right? But it can also be like a very from a very authentic short form video that they shoot from your mobile.
yeah.
No one knows. It's very, very strange, right? But I think there are many things that you can do, right? Very good SEO research, trying to identify certain keywords. know how to place, the captions and the subtitles in a very, correct way. So, the Google, the crawlers will find them, even if you do the posting on TikTok or on Reels. So it's very, very important. Um, and I think it's very different between like a full-fledged live event, where sometimes it can take, half an hour, 1 hour, to, let's call it, shoppable video, which is kind of a short form, vertical type of video. So I think it's still in experimentation, and we don't know fully how the algorithm works today. It will maybe change tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, trial and error, right? Creating a lot. The platform likes a lot of videos, right? I mean, if you push 30 videos a day, they're happy. If you push 100, they're more happy. So you need to experiment with various styles, different product lines. And also, I think it's very, very important what you're trying to achieve. Where are you on the funnel? Is it like a product education? It's like discovery? It's like conversion? I think more and more people are less patient. So they go directly to conversions, and there's some steps that they need to put in place, before. So it's really, interesting, and this is probably the best, the best part of the business, trying to, be a creative, mindset, and try to attach creative to budget, right? And
So what is there a time? I get at, how long is this video supposed to be? Is there time best practices? Is it 15 seconds? Is it 30? Is this, what's too long? What's too short?
I mean, it's very difficult to convert in 15 seconds, right? So it's and again, it's all dependent on the presenter as well, right? Like up to 30 seconds, I think, should be the majority of the video. Sometime we do it like longer, because we know people will stay. There is some special, presenter, or there's some special products or special announcement, so people will stay for longer, like another 20 seconds. This is what we are referring to. So it really depends. If it's a product no one knows, a presenter no one knows, but it's done in a very authentic and, charismatic way, then, we will aim for around 30 seconds. And if there is some traction, that we will try to expand it a little bit, because we understand it's improved conversion. So it's like a trial and error, and always be agile, to quickly create the next video and the next video. And these videos you can create very, very fast, right? It's not something that takes a lot of time.
That's what I think is fun and interesting.
Yeah,
That's
it's really interesting.
That's a
Yeah.
good bot to me. I have good bots and bad bots. That's a good bot.
Yes, that's a good
Because,
bot. Yeah.
but I will say this, and I'm probably wrong, whatever. People, like I said, people want to be entertained. If you engage somebody, it is remarkable. Look at the average engagement time on TikTok. It's
Yeah.
higher than YouTube. It's flabbergasting, right? I mean, it's just unbelievable, because they're entertained, they're engaged.
Correct.
It's a compelling story, character, personality.
Yeah, I think the
If it's
TikTok
not, then
algorithm.
see you later.
Yeah. I mean, with TikTok, I mean, the algorithm just keep you in the platform. They are like, so advanced compared to the others in terms of the way the algorithm works, which is really key differentiator. I wanted to ask you about, paid versus organic, right? Do you see any influence on the success of the paid campaigns if the brand is creating, some exciting, post, or, some organic video? There is any influence on the success of paid media campaigns?
Unfortunately, the answer in my experience is yes.
Okay. Wow, interesting. Okay. Please
Because,
share more.
well, I mean, we used to do organic. We were almost trying to get out of organic, because having a third party agency do your organic for your company and your brand is just so difficult
Sure.
to be
Yeah.
consistent. And so we shy away from that. Honestly, we try to charge more
Yes.
money than it's worth. So it's now your customer service. It's just so much. But we've done this, and I've seen this. The minute the organic just kind of stops, or it's so intermittent, it affects your paid.
Wow.
It can
Wow.
affect your paid,
Yeah.
because if you have, I'm telling you, Eitan, you know this better than anybody. digital machines, the ones and zeros, it likes a widget that never changes, or if it does, it's
Yes.
capturing traffic, it's conversion, it's engagement, whatever the metric, the KPI is. So if one is all on and then it's off forever, but you have the paid going, great. You're going to see some success and that's going to drive whatever. But
Yes.
man, if you have organic going and its cadence is correct, and actually it's matched up with either messaging, promotion, call to action, those things, and they're side by side, oh my God, then you see a greater outcome. But very tough
And
to do.
very tough to do. But everyone creates inbound content today, right? Because of OpenAI and ChatGPT. I read that in the last year since ChatGPT was introduced, we created more content than the entire years since the internet started, right?
Wow.
Just in 1 year.
Wow.
So we have like an overflow of content, right? And it's really poor quality of content. And I think, the platform are smart to identify true original and content with real value. So there's definitely the issue of quantity versus quality, right? Maybe they found a cheap way to create content in a massive scale, but it's like very poor in quality, and there is no way for it to help in any other way. Maybe it's just the other way around. Maybe it's more negative impact on everything that
Yeah.
you try to do. So it's
I
interesting.
Yeah, it is. But to your point, right? And we've seen this and we've played this out. TikTok, we've talked about TikTok, right? Because it's so engaging. It's incredible, their engagement rates and the time. We also seen, which makes sense if you think about it, right? We've had we do content creation. So we've went to
Mhm.
TikTok agencies and you pay X amount of dollars and they produce X amount of video and reels and short clips and all these other
Yeah.
things, right? So you send them the product, but again, they're a factory. This is no shade on them. I'm not disparaging them at all. They're doing what you paid them to do. But if it
Yeah.
comes back and it's not authentic to the product, and we have a product that's used outside in a mountainy region, and they're in an urban environment and they're in the
Yeah.
skyscrapers, it's like, and their language isn't right, the nomenclature, this music's not right. It didn't work. We didn't get any sales off it. We didn't get any engagement. We didn't get anything. So you got to be careful right now.
Yeah.
It still comes back to people actually just want to see real stuff, man. They just,
Yeah.
there's no hiding behind some big, false pretenses. You got to be,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. These platforms are so good to identify the really good stuff, right?
Yes.
It's really work. I mean, it's working, and it's you see, and if it's trending and if it's viral, something is happening there. There is something, and the speed that these trends are changing. It used to be like a trend every quarter. Now it's trend every week, right? It's like it's changing all the time. You cannot follow all these trends. You need to be,
No.
you need to have a strategy. You need to be consistent. So I want to talk to you about social commerce. I mean, like the numbers are like going to be like crazy. I hear like $6 billion just in the US in 5 years from now, much bigger than any of the online business in social. So what are your thoughts on social commerce? How do you see this evolving in terms of, brands starting to sell outside of their own online shop? And I see also a trend of a lot of new brands just building new businesses without an online platform, just doing this on social. And this is like mimicking or just copying things that we see in Asia right now.
Yes.
So still, advertising versus social commerce. Obviously, the advertising budgets are massively higher, obviously, than social commerce, but this is going to change quite dramatically in the following years.
Yeah, I have been sitting here, Eitan, for many years, waiting for social commerce to just
Yeah.
pop, for somebody to figure out, like I said, perfect the sauce on connect, like collapsing the funnel. It's the same thing. You're taking to discovery, whatever.
Yes.
And consumers don't really get, I'm into the business. I have a 24 and 26-year-old daughters, right? And so when they're going shopping on Instagram, they don't really, technically, they're still within the walled garden, as they say, when Instagram.
Yeah.
The consumer, my wife, they don't care. They don't know, and they don't care, right? But the nerds like me are going, wait, I can't track attribution. I want to know if you go out of that into this app or into my website. I can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think the consumer already is doing social commerce. I just think the people in the industry don't know how to measure it yet as well.
Okay.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes. I mean, I'm looking at the data, right? I'm like social commerce business volume, right, versus ad spend, like market share. So it's crazy. Like in China, the social commerce is like triple in size than advertising, overall advertising spend. Over US is like the other way around. Like, US is like maybe 10% social commerce, 90% advertising, right? And if we are, mimic, copying the trends from China, then we see where is it going. I mean, it's like a mega. When we talk about retail media, this is maybe bigger than the retail media opportunity. It's like
I agree
crazy.
with you. I agree, because the limitation of capacity on retail media is real estate.
Yes.
There's only so much space on a screen, right? It's right. It's limited. We've already seen this.
Sure.
So I agree with you so much, because I will use my 24, 26-year-old because I'm old, because, we got to keep up. But to your point, I agree with you 100%, because every time, I bought this. Oh, how did you buy that brand? Well, somebody I follow, this quote, somebody I follow uses it, liked it, what have you. Did they buy it from that post? No. They saw the brand. They had to go out of the platform, out of Instagram, out of wherever they saw it, that influence, that somebody I follow. And then they had to go figure out. Now, the choice is, do they buy it on Amazon? A lot of people go there. Where they bought it from is a whole nother shopping cart conversion thing, which is what China has done that we just, in the United States specifically, have not figured out. And it's hard. This is my whole thing with TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
You got to tell me how the shopping cart, the operational, the fulfillment's going to work. Because if you're going to if I'm going to buy something, make it easy, and then collapse that funnel, you got to deliver.
Sure.
So I am with you on that all the way. And I think I'm surprised somebody hasn't figured it out already as fast as.
No, I mean, I saw that like in 2023, 100 million, US citizens already purchased on social. And this number is increasing, staggering rate. Social commerce is not just buying on social. It's buying because your social network purchased that product.
Correct. But see,
right? So you are influenced also by your friends, right?
But CFOs don't like that, Eitan. CFOs can't that doesn't show up on a spreadsheet, because it's hard. And
of course,
you got a ton of people on our podcast, and you have, everybody is. There are such smart people that are trying to connect these attribution dots. And the fact that they're playing better together, from an Amazon, a Walmart, and a Meta, and a TikTok, all these big, huge, right? These massive demands. The fact that they're playing nicer together and opening the world, this is a good sign, because the attribution scientists will figure this out.
Yes, interesting. And attribution, I think, is another big topic, maybe for the next, episode. Let's move for the fun part. I know you're doing so many things, beside having fun all day long, right? Doing work. Tell us something that most people don't know about you. Let me share with us some interesting thing that you do.
Yes, fun facts, Scotty O, fun facts. I have been the announcer for the Seattle Marathon for 11 years.
Wow.
So I am the star. I'm the guy on the mic. I am the host. I'm the guy at the start line and the guy at the finish line. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And I do 12 to 15 races a year, 5Ks, half marathons. I got one this Sunday for the Super Bowl in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that. The other thing that people probably don't know is I've done over 500 plus sporting events as a play-by-play announcer on
Wow.
a streaming platform we have up here in the North Puget Sound, Seattle area called STSBN for 13 years.
Hmm.
So we do high school basketball, high school football, we do baseball, we've done lacrosse, we do a bunch of sports, and so I do play-by-play for that. And
Wow.
that's what probably people don't realize.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. It's really, really interesting. I think this whole episode was great. You know why? I think it was great because we didn't speak about AI.
God, where's my paddle? Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's like a must, but I think we went back to basics, right? Talk about the real stuff. What you need to do to succeed, right? Today, right, in 2024. So I really,
I,
really enjoyed it.
I couldn't
Really,
agree
thank
with
you
you
so
more.
much. Anything you want to add?
No, I just that what I've been doing the same thing for a very long time, in a sense,
Hmm.
right? I've been, but because of all the changes, because it's so fast, because I'm fascinated with how the dots connect and the wires
Yes.
connect, I'm still having a good time. And I'm still
Great.
challenged. I still can't figure a bunch of stuff out, but that's why I love meeting people like you. Thank you so much for having me. And
Yes.
I,
And
I,
I wish,
I, I think we're in for a fun, and the generational shifts that are happening in certain countries is also a major, going to have a huge impact.
yes, yes.
That's
We feel your passion. We feel you're super excited, and it's helping us all increase our capacity and our performance. So thank you so much, Scott. It was really a pleasure. Um, yeah, I mean, wish you a great year and talk to you soon.
absolutely. We'll talk soon. Thanks.
Bye bye.